Hey, I'm Mac. Welcome back to my channel. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe and consider joining my Patreon for access to new videos told 24 hours early, as well as some Patreon exclusive content. You want to know my opinion on depth versus hurt? It's on Patreon. You want to virtually join me on a hike? It's on Patreon. Check it out. So if you know anything about me, you know that I love alternative medicine. And by love, I mean like, and by like, I mean have a distaste for, and by have a distaste for, I mean dislike, and by dislike, I mean hate, and by hate, I mean it fills me with so much rage that I'm probably going to end up with half of the disorders that Ina Segal described in her book that I covered in my last video. And I just have to thank one of you who sent in this submission to make sure that my blissful, glorious, happy ignorance of the Heli frequency device came to an end. Thank you for making me aware of it. And I took a look at the submission and I thought, okay, so it's another alternative medicine scam company. You know, well, at least it's not an MLM or anything. It's not an MLM, right? It's not an MLM. Yeah, it's a fucking MLM. So why don't we just go ahead and hear it all straight from the horse's mouth? That's a weird saying. Let's go. So this is a video from Heli's YouTube channel, and this is supposed to explain Heli in under 9 minutes. Okay, here we go. Oh, great. It starts off with this disclaimer. Heli is not intended to cure, treat, diagnose, or prevent disease, but rather support energetic balance and enhance asterisk recovery, asterisk vitality, asterisk well-being, period. Okay. Well, we'll see how well they stick to this disclaimer, huh? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what they intend it for. I have my doubts.
One of the greatest inventors of...
I'm sorry, is this person just reading the dictionary like it's a novel and looking up the word love? It's a great read, I've heard. It's a bestseller, the dictionary. Has all the words. Some novels only have some of the words.
All time, Nikola Tesla, the genius who lit the world, once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Say you are listening."
Nikola Tesla never said that. He never said that. There's no way he said that. There's just no way.
To the radio in your car and do not like the music that you are hearing. What do?
I ask why the fuck the radio was on in the first place.
You change the frequency. What many people fail to realize is that we can take charge of our frequencies in the exact same way.
By turning the stereo in your car? What?
We tend to reduce our body's anatomy down to a simplified version that consists of only flesh and blood.
Yeah, my body is flesh, blood, bones, neurons. Why is the camera doing a Dutch angle?
But everything on this planet, animals, plants, and water, are made of atoms, which produce, emit, and receive energy, which operates at a...
I'm sorry, produce energy?
Specific frequency. Everything. All our tissues, cells, organs, emotions, and thought patterns have their own unique electromagnetic fields, as do allergens, viruses, or bacteria. All things have a frequency, including you.
Nope.
The human body. You always want to be healthy, active, and balanced. That's what makes
Already am.
up Heli. With a quantum sensor that uses
Okay, you need to stop doing these horror shots. You had a Dutch angle going there for a while. Now we're looking at creepy guy. The colors are all desaturated. Stop it.
individually determined frequencies to stimulate specific areas of your body. Researchers like Dr. Carolyn McMacken and Melina have in their clinical practice the effect of tens of thousands of such frequencies studied and tested. The result of these
That is such a weird way to phrase it. Like, it's weird to say tens of thousands of different frequencies. It's weird to say that about something that has a continuous spectrum. It's just strange. It doesn't make sense to me why you would say it that way. It's not like it's discrete elements or something. It's a continuous electromagnetic spectrum. I'm assuming we're talking about electromagnetic frequencies and not like mechanical waves.
decades of experience is now available to you. 144,000 gold frequencies all day with an
What is a gold frequency?
intuitive app that puts the future into your hands. Welcome to Heli World. It's not science fiction. It's science.
Okay.
Heli, the wearable for your well-being, health and fitness.
Yeah, so this disclaimer right here is very important. So here's what this device actually is. What this device actually is what's called a transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation device, or a TENS device, TENS. And it works by sending electrical currents at small voltages and small amounts through two electrodes that you attach to your body. And the current passes between the two electrodes. And supposedly, this is supposed to relieve neuropathic pain or other types of chronic pain by stimulating the nerves and getting those nerves to stop sending pain signals. There's not a ton of evidence for it. It does seem to work for some people, but it's not quite clear why it works for some patients but not others. And that's the only thing that this device is approved for in the US, at least. It is only approved for like chronic pain, fibromyalgia, skeletal pain, stuff like that. I don't know about that supportive treatment of mental illnesses. I think they're going a little bit out on the limb there. But everything else that has to do with this has absolutely no evidence. The stuff for the pain treatment, that has limited evidence as it is. The evidence is quite shaky for the treatment of chronic pain. It seems to work for some people, but it doesn't seem to work for others. And the evidence is far from conclusive for that. However, it does have some evidence. Anything else that they're using this for has no evidence whatsoever. None. And a similar type of device is called electrical muscle stimulation, or EMS. That type of device is a little bit different, but it's very similar. It works by sending stronger and higher amounts of current and voltage through, with the goal of stimulating muscles to contract, whereas the TENS machine is just stimulating nerves but not causing any muscle contractions. And EMS seems to possibly have some utility for those who are confined to bed or confined in some sort of position where they cannot move their muscles themselves. this can help prevent atrophy from taking place with those muscles. So it can be used to restore muscle tone. And there are fringy kind of athletes that use it too, but again, the evidence is not very conclusive on it. It's quite scant and it's quite conflicting. But that's something to keep in mind here. If you hear them saying that it's like FDA approved or something, yeah, it is for chronic pain or fibromyalgia, skeletal pain. That's it. And it has nothing to do with frequencies, okay? So this is a very important disclaimer here.
Well-being, vitality, as well as physical and mental health.
That's exactly what I look like when I wake up in the morning. I just beam and smile.
Are among the most important things we...
Look how nice it is outside. Why are you running on a treadmill? You're in... Why? Go outside. Clearly, this device rots your brain, is what happens.
Possess. In order to support you in all these ways, we have developed...
The design of this box was clearly not at all a ripoff of 23andMe.
Heli. Heli is a wearable device. Heli applies a range of frequencies and subtle currents that stimulate cell function using electrodes. Heli contains 144,000 different frequencies.
It contains them? What? Like, what? Don't you mean it can set itself to that many? Contains them? What is it? Like a lamp?
Which have specific effects on humans.
Nope. No, honey. It's just for nerve pain.
These gold frequencies were developed in collaboration with Nuno Nina, a Portuguese therapist and researcher who has used them to treat thousands of patients in his international clinics for over 20 years.
Okay, I don't know who that is. Can I see some credentials? Can I see a license? A lot of scam practitioners see thousands of patients for many, many years before anything happens to them. So that's not really convincing. And I don't know anything about medicine in Portugal.
Based on these gold frequencies, Heli contains more than 100 special sequence programs to support the treatment of various disorders and other areas of life. These programs are called systemic programs in the Heli app and are labeled with the abbreviation CYST. The centerpiece of Heli is the quantum sensor that
Really? The quantum has a quantum sensor in it? What the hell's the quantum sensor? Okay. See, this is that quantum mysticism that I was talking about in my previous video, where they just take some of what quantum mechanics sounds like and just completely misinterpret it and apply it to human emotions and human feelings and things like that, when that's not at all the implication of quantum mechanics. It's so ridiculous. Do you really think that they fit some type of quantum mechanics related sensor in there? Yeah, I don't think so either. It's probably the same type of quantum as that quantum dishwasher detergent out there, please.
Individually selects the gold frequencies that are best suited for your needs. The systemic programs are always the first choice for almost any area of application, as they focus on balancing the cause of a condition. This is why the
balancing the cause of the condition, so it balances the what? Also, something important that they're not really going over here is that this type of device, you should not be using it if you have a pacemaker or any type of heart arrhythmia because it is an electrical current, and that's just not something that you should be messing with. Furthermore, it's interesting that they're showing her placing it on each hand. Generally, what I've heard is that you're not supposed to apply these anywhere where the voltage could end up going across your heart, which would possibly happen, I would think, if you are applying it to each hand. For example, you're not supposed to place it here and here, or on each arm, or on one arm and like right here. I don't know. That seems like not a good suggestion, but okay.
These programs are not applied locally, but in most cases in a holistic way, using the bracelet electrodes. The frequencies are designed to energetically affect the entire system in an integrated way via the upper body and its organs, glands, and the nervous system. Ththese programs can have a duration of 45 minutes. Their goal is to stimulate and balance you.
Yeah, I don't have 45 minutes.
At deeper levels. So take enough time and rest when you use the Heli.
When?
Your health should be worth it. If you need quick help, Heli has a lot of programs for this too. In cases of acute pain, emotional distress, stress, or insomnia, use the acute programs, which are applied via your earlobes. To summarize, you should first
just have it go right across your brain.
Apply the systemic programs. If necessary, you can complement these with the acute or local programs. The Heli frequency programs should perceivably help you after 20 minutes, whether applied at home, at work, during leisure time, during sports, or on the go.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use that on the go because I'll look like a tool.
Using Heli regularly will let you experience its full potential.
That's literally what you'll look like waking up.
We hope that you are going to enjoy your Heli and experience increased well-being and vitality.
Not bloody likely. Wait a minute. Is this device, is that a mini USB port? Is that a fucking, not even a micro? I think that's a mini USB port. Number one, I don't buy anything that doesn't have USB-C these days. Just because, here's the thing. If you're buying some kind of gadget or whatever off of Amazon or any other website, a lot of times it's difficult to narrow things down. But USB-C is a great way to narrow it down. Not only is it more convenient and just you have one cable, but also a USB-C port is more expensive to implement than a micro USB or a mini USB port is. A mini USB or a micro USB are a lot cheaper of a component to put on the gadget. So if a gadget has a micro USB port or a mini USB port, that basically tells you that the manufacturer, the main driving force in what they were choosing to put on this device was what is the cheapest. Whereas if it's USB-C, perhaps a little bit more thought was given to quality. See, it's a good tip. Anyway, see, the Heli, I'm pretty sure that's a fucking mini USB port. Unbelievable.
What we have here is we have a lot of red blood cells that are stacked together in a formation called rouleau, where there's very poor circulation, very poor oxygen CO2 exchange. The red blood cells should be visible and separate like this one right here.
Okay, what this is it's called live blood analysis. It is a pseudoscientific alternative medicine thing that they do where they just look at it and they say like, oh, well, these ones are too big and these ones are too small and look how... It's not accepted by any conventional medical wisdom. Furthermore, what I'm seeing right here is it looks like you have allowed the blood to coagulate. because, you know, usually when you take a blood sample, you are applying an anticoagulant to it so that it doesn't do that. That's part of what's in those tubes when the phlebotomist takes your blood. There's that little gel at the bottom. There's usually an anticoagulant among other things in there so that it doesn't end up like this. Yeah, I think you can even see some of the fibrous elements coming in as well, which is also evidence that this is a blood clot. You see how they're all clumped together, and I believe you can also see some fibers in the background, which indicates it's clotting. That's all this is. It's blood that has clotted.
That they're stacked up, and there's multiple causes of that.
Yeah, clotting.
Including dehydration, poor digestion of protein, excess carbohydrates in the...
Having a flim-flam practitioner take your blood and not knowing to apply an anticoagulant to it.
Blood, sugars too high in the blood. And overall, a low negative charge in the blood, where the potential, the zeta potential in the cells has been diminished.
Yeah, okay.
Diminished, so cells just clump. Also, we have a lot of inflammation in the background. So you can see the sort of spider web formation in the background. That's inflammation.
No, that's clotting. That's what happens when blood clots.
That can be caused by
bleeding,
injury to the tissues. It can be caused by stress. It can be caused by liver.
Nope.
Not working properly and filtering the blood. Multiple causes of that too. Here we can see a very small white blood cell, actually. In the case of this blood sample, the person's white blood cells were too small. You can see this one.
Compared to what?
Here, too. They should be 2 or 3 times the size of the red cells, and they're about maybe 1.5 times the size of a red cell. So they're not in ideal shape. So this is the picture of a sample of blood I looked at within the last week. So after that last sample of blood we looked at, the person did a 1-hour treatment with a frequency device called a Heli, which sends microcurrent and specific frequencies into the person's body. And that was 60 minutes. It was on a program called Immune System. So immediately after that treatment, I looked at her blood, and this is what we saw. It was about 50% of the blood improved. So instead of being stacked up, the red blood cells, you can see them here, they're separate.
Here's my hypothesis as to what happened in this experiment. You took the patient's blood, smeared it on the slide, then you did the fucking Heli thing for an hour. Then you took the patient's blood again, and then you looked at both samples, which gave the first sample time to coagulate. And whether you knew that or didn't know that that would happen, that's what's behind the result that you're getting here. The first sample has coagulated in the hour that you spent doing the Heli shit, and the second sample has not coagulated because you just took it. That's what occurred here. That's exactly what occurred.
Exchange CO2 for oxygen now. They can actually get...
Yeah. There's very little oxygen exchange going on in red blood cells that are coagulating.
Get the job done, what they need to be done. Interestingly also, her white blood cells were bigger, and the program she ran was Immune System. The white blood cells here, you can see, are about 2 times the size of the red cells. There's another white blood cell, more in the correct size. Some of the inflammation is gone too. The background doesn't have all that spider web type.
Because this blood is not clotting.
Fibrin in the background. Let me run the video here a little bit. You can see overall the blood is a lot better. I would say it's a good...
Yeah, it's a lot better than clotted blood.
50% better in terms of the viscosity of the blood. The blood cells are actually moving. They're not all clumped.
It's amazing how they don't move when they coagulate.
So essentially what happened is that we increased a lot of negative charge into the blood. And that negative charge helps the cells separate from each other, so they have more of a surface area to get oxygen, and they have a lot more flow and movement of nutrients and energy through her body. And that's what her blood looked like literally 1 hour after the first sample, after she did a 1 hour treatment on immune system.
Yeah, exactly what happened there is they took the one sample, smeared it on the slide, did the Heli thing, took another sample, smeared that one on the slide, and then they looked at both slides, which obviously an hour is quite a lot of time for blood to spend coagulating. And then they were like, oh my God, this would all clotted. Well, yeah, because you let it clot. That's what blood does when it's outside the body, unless you're on way too much warfarin or something, okay? But I guess that's because you don't know what you're fucking doing, so you don't understand how blood clotting works. Really? My God. So stupid. But I feel like we haven't learned enough about how this Heli device works. So I thought that we would take a look at this video that is called 7 Tips for Using the Heli Device. So let's take a look.
Hi everyone, I'm Charlotte Ember and I am the founder of The Awakening Revolution. I'm a musician and I am also a Heli World member distributor. And this is 7 tips to get the best results from your Heli frequency device.
All right, first of all, her camera setup looks great. So there's that. That lens must have an enormous aperture.
Tip number 1 is consistency. Our cells need consistent vibrational input to really make a lasting change. And this information really builds on itself. So when you're using your Heli device, you want to be using it most days. We recommend that it's about 2 to 3 applications a day. And you want to really be consistent with that. So every single day, start up a program in the morning and feel how your body is feeling after that program. I will sometimes run another program if I'm feeling like my body is really receiving it well. And if I feel like that has been enough information for that time, then I will wait and I'll come back to it again in the day. So you can spread these out, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening if you'd like. You can also do a couple together and then wait and do another one. But really going over 3 programs a day is typically not recommended because our cells need to repair. You need to give your body that time to catch up really to the information that you're giving it.
Are my cells taking notes? What information? I thought it was just a frequency. If it's a frequency, that means that it's happening at a regular, unchanging interval. So that means that it cannot, by definition, contain information unless the amplitude is varying, because that's the only way it can contain information. Otherwise, it's just noise. So how is there information in there exactly?
Our cells can really only handle a certain amount of information as it is with any type of program where you are bettering your health, if you're doing a detox program or anything like that, you wouldn't want to be constantly doing that. You would also want to give your cells time to repair.
Repair? Are you breaking them?
So tip number 2 is easing into it. I know when everyone gets their Heli device, they're really excited. They want to jump right into it. They want to try out all the different programs, but that really isn't the best course of action. I really recommend, and I know I've heard so many others and practitioners talking about this, to let your body ease into it. So try a program, see how your body responds to it, and then start implementing doing 2 or 3 a day. So tip number 3 is use your intuition. You want to make sure that you're really listening to your body's needs.
My body says it doesn't fucking need that Heli.
And you're paying attention to the signs that your body is giving you. So sometimes when we start using something new and we're introducing something to our bodies that it hasn't felt or known before, it will take your body a little bit of time to adjust and to start making those changes. Sometimes changes can happen instantly, and other times it will take more time. So it depends on what the issue is, it depends on what you're dealing with, it depends on how long you have been dealing with an issue. So really there is no set amount of time that...
Well, how much does it depend on each of those factors? Can you imagine if a medication, they were like, yeah, we don't know when it's going to start working. It could start working like right now, or it could start working next year.
We can say that it will take. It's all different for everyone, and this is why listening to your intuition is so important. Even using your intuition when you're choosing a program. If you don't have the Resonance Edition, which will tell you which programs resonate most with your body at that...
Oh, Jesus Christ.
...that given moment, if you don't have that one, then really paying attention to your intuition, and also maybe the Heal Advisor app would help you as well, because you can enter your symptoms into that Heal Advisor app, and then it will give recommendations for which programs are going to be best for that symptom.
Geez, having shitty intuition sure sounds expensive.
Or that ailment that you're dealing with at that moment. So, if you do not have the Heal Advisor app or the Resonance, it's going to be even more important to really pay attention to the signs in your body. And as you're using these programs, just always be paying attention. So tip number 4 is hydration. You want to be sure that your cells are getting all of the water that they need in order to function properly.
Okay, that's just normally good advice.
Especially when we're doing this type of deep work within our bodies. If you have ever seen the work of Dr. Masato Emoto, you know
Nope.
that vibration and frequency has a huge effect on water molecules.
I mean, yeah, like in the microwave, but not otherwise. When you vibrate water molecules, they get hot. That's what happens. That's how a microwave works, sweetheart.
And your body is around 60 to 70% water.
No way.
So this type of input it's imperative to have good water flow within our cells. Well,
just be careful what frequency you're sending into my water molecules, because I don't want to cook.
Water in between our cells, water in our cells, so that can be the way that the frequencies and vibration is communicating with your body. I'm going to...
I mean, can we measure this frequency? How does it work? How do I know what... Can I use a tuner, or do I need to... What if I grab like a multimeter? Can I pick it up, or is it alternating current? Is that what it is?
Post a link at the top here to one of my videos that goes a little deeper into Masato Emoto's work. So check that out. It's very, very...
Can you pick my frequency up with a radio? Is it shortwave? Is it like a number station? Is it like Yankee Hotel Foxtrot?
Very interesting. Tip number 5 when using the Heli device is knowing what level of microcurrent to be using. I have also heard a lot of people talking about they're cranking up their microcurrent levels to 100%. Now I want you to understand frequency is coming through the Heli device. So you are going to be getting the optimal amount of frequency coming through your device, no matter what you set your microcurrent levels to. But microcurrent is a little different. When you open your app and you're using the app for the Heli, you will see a plus and minus sign. This is controlling the level of microcurrent that is coming into your system. So you will still be getting all the frequency that you need, no matter what that percentage is. But you don't want to overdo the microcurrent. This is definitely well known by practitioners that have been using microcurrent for many decades. So pay attention to their advice, because they know what they're talking about. You do not want to overwhelm your cells with
It's literally a figurative current, a flow. So I'm pretty sure she's mistaken on this. She's not quite understanding it. The microcurrent is describing the amount of current that it's sending through at that frequency, because I believe, if I'm understanding it correctly, it is sending alternating current. So the frequency is how rapidly the current is switching back and forth because it's alternating current. For example, if you're in the United States, Canada, Mexico, the northern half of South America, Japan, Korea, the power switches back and forth 60 times every second. And then if you're everywhere else, it switches back and forth 50 times per second. That's why our cameras have weird light effects when we take them other places. So it's just different properties of the same current going through. So there's an electrical current being applied, and it has a frequency and it has an amount of current. That's all it is.
Microcurrent, it can actually have the opposite effect. So you want to have the optimal effect. So the way to do this is to turn the plus, hit the plus sign until you start knowing that you are definitely feeling the microcurrent coming through. And then you want to take it back about 5%. So you want the microcurrent just to feel like it is barely there, and you can still feel it, but it is really very faint coming through. And you need to trust the process. Trust that your body is getting what it needs.
Oh, so you just have to trust it. Can you imagine if you were getting a surgery or a new medication added to your regimen and the doctor's like, yeah, so what's really important is you will need to go to physical therapy after this. And it's really important that you get plenty of sleep and that you do all the exercises the physical therapist gives you. And it's also going to be really important that you just trust that the surgery is going to go really well. You really have to trust the surgery. If you don't trust it, it's not going to work. Okay, so you have to trust the surgery. I would not be going under that operation.
Tip number 6 is grounding and earthing. This is something that has come into our understanding here just recently. We've been hearing a whole lot more about grounding and earthing, and it really plays a really good role in using these frequencies and vibration. Our cells are a negative voltage, and when they're healthy, they're at a negative 70 millivolts. Now, what happens to our cells when they start dying is they are actually losing their voltage, and they're losing the ability.
Right, that's because they're dying.
To communicate with the cells around them. The frequency, or the voltage rather, of the earth is a positive charge. So when our negative charge connects with the positive charge of the earth, it completes this harmonious cycle.
What? Wouldn't that just cancel out both charges?
And it actually helps to bring our cells back into balance.
Why would going and touching a positive charge make the negative charge stronger?
So pairing the microcurrent with then going and grounding in the earth is very important to do.
What is this, like electrical mysticism? Why are we talking about grounding?
I know that when you use frequency and vibration and voltage, if you're
frequency and vibration and voltage, what the? Tell me you don't know what you're talking about without telling me you don't know what you're talking about.
Starting to feel a little racy in your system, that means you're needing to ground, you're needing to take it back, you're needing to come back into more of a grounded state.
That's not what racy means.
So that would be the time to go outside, stand in the grass, and
did she just tell us to go out and touch grass?
And allow that voltage to go where it's supposed to go.
Not into my body.
So tip number 7 is trust the process.
Yeah, it's really important. Like if, just like all very effective medical treatments, it's very important that you believe in it, okay? If you don't trust it, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. That's such a red flag right there.
I know we can get really antsy and we can get really anxious to see all of these amazing results that we know that frequency can give, but it sometimes takes time. And all of these tips that I've been giving, the consistency, drinking water, easing into it, all of these different things play a role in this whole process. And most importantly, using frequency and vibration helps us to get in tune with those more subtle energies, the energy that maybe we were not so in tune with before.
Maybe because it wasn't real.
But as we start working with this energy, it is actually helping you to come into more attunement with those fine-tuned subtle energies. And
what do you mean?
that is so beneficial on so many levels.
Okay, can I detect these? What type of energy? Can I detect them, or do we know where they originate from?
We truly are electric beings.
Yes, sort of.
And as we are helping our bodies in the electrical area.
The electrical area. Okay.
It is helping our emotions. It's helping to resolve pain in our bodies. It's helping our cell repair process. It's doing so many different things.
Can you explain how you know that?
The Heli is so wonderful because we are able to use this device from our homes. It's a very small wearable device. I have it right here.
Why?
It's connecting through the electrodes here on my wrists. And what's so great about this is we are able to be consistent with this device. I don't have to go into an office to use.
Yeah, remember when you used to have to go into an office to get electricity sent through your body?
Use a frequency machine or a frequency generator. This
It truly is the future, lady.
type of technology has been around for a while, but in this format, it's very new. And what is also so wonderful about the Heli is that it has immediate feedback. So it's reading your vibrational blueprint, and it is learning and determining which frequency.
Where? Does it have a chip in there? Is that the quantum sensor? What has it got, like a Qualcomm Snapdragon in there?
Frequencies to give you at that moment. It has what's called a quantum sensor within it, that it's a patented sensor.
I knew it. I would love to see the patent for that sensor.
And it will help to read what your body specifically
What a load of crap.
needs. So instead of giving a generic frequency based on symptoms, whenever you use one of the Heli programs, it's pulling from a pool of frequencies that you specifically need. And it's going to run a sequence of frequencies.
Based on what?
That all harmoniously work together and that have been proven to help bring your body and mind back into balance.
Proven how?
So I want to thank you for joining me on this video. If you have any questions at all, if you're new to Heli and have some questions, or you haven't heard of Heli before, I would be glad to share more with you. My information is in the description below. And I also do a workshop that is an overview of the Heli products, what we offer, and the science behind it.
Why wasn't the science in this one?
I do that every Tuesday night, and so I also have the information in the description below that you can.
So, luckily, that's all the dumber that it gets, right? No, I can't believe that's as dumb as you thought the Heli community could get. Nope. Because apparently some of them are using the Heli remotely. Take a look at this.
Is just put the intention of, I'm connecting and to the Heli, and that you are allowing me to get your vibration now. So I'm going to do that now.
So these two are working together and they're talking to someone who is in the chat, I believe.
I'll just take a second. Sorry guys, that my voice is like literally.
I have to say the little sparkle filter is really, that's really what you need in order to look like a professional. Don't worry, it's not disrespectful at all that you're not prepared.
Hello guys, we are doing Heli healing sessions. If things decide to work today, I can't understand. Just like it, I just used you this morning, so why are you being
I'm so tired of the excuses people have for this shit. See, this is why I can't do lives.
Phyllis, why don't you message me as well too, so that we can talk as well, and Melina and everybody else too. If we can't, I don't know why there's these technical difficulties, but if you guys message me, we will get these done today together, for sure.
I thought you were a psychic.
I don't know
why if it works.
It's being so weird. Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
But I thought the app was so great.
You can't hear me.
I'm reading your lips.
But you can't hear me?
No.
I'm not even muted.
Oh no, now I can. Okay, there we go.
Oh, you can hear me?
Now I can. Yep.
Oh.
Girlfriend had her volume muted.
Okay, I'm like, I swear I'm not muted. We're not this tech. Okay, now it's not letting these
Really? Because it looked like it.
go away. Like, how do I get the comments off?
Instagram hates us today.
Okay, guys. I was just
Well, Instagram and I have that in common.
going to say, let me try to see if I can get one in my Heli. I got Atlas to calm down.
Yeah, I want to see if your Heli app is working. Mine is, for whatever reason, something is not happening the way that it needs.
Yeah, how else would it be able to pick up the vibration of someone who's not even there?
It's too.
Okay. Who do we have?
We have Phyllis. Oh no, we were doing Melina. Melina is, her birthday is 380, and now we know her.
Well, dang, Phyllis. The person's not even in the fucking room.
There we go. Perfect.
Okay, Melina, if you're still here, if you'll just take a moment to get a little quiet and set the intention that you're allowing the Heli to scan you.
From all the way over there.
And for me, if you're a visual person, I like to imagine that I'm holding the Heli in your right hand. Just imagine that it's sitting in your hand.
Yeah, you guys, you don't even need to attach the electrodes or anything or buy the Heli. All you got to do is imagine that you're holding one in your hand.
To help you visualize that it is scanning you. And this will just take a few moments.
You're literally just playing pretend. Riveting.
Okay.
You know, wouldn't this technology that you're using to remotely connect the Heli to somebody, I mean, that sounds like it would be better than Wi-Fi or 5G. You could probably just transmit data through that. You know, you should sell it to Verizon.
Okay, so now that it's scanned your unique individual frequency, I'm going to run.
I have to imagine that if it can send a body scan, it has to be able to at least stream 1080p.
A full scan on your body, and now it's going to see where are the areas that you need the most support right now.
Without touching you. Not that I would be less skeptical if it were.
This will just take another few moments to just set the intention that you're again allowing it to scan your body.
So you just pretend it's taking your blood pressure. Just gotta pretend.
Let me do that, boy.
What is happening?
So here it's telling me that there are some areas physically that your body is needing extra support in right now. And what came up, it chooses the top 5 things that your body let it know it needed support in. And that first one is the large intestine as well as the small intestine. We also have the allergy meridian. So meridians are pathways of energy in your body. So something that has to do with allergies, whether that's an environmental allergy, like something is blooming around you, or like a food allergy, as well as the bladder and the connective tissue in the body.
Well, maybe it's the bladder because she's pissed off.
So now what this does is, now that it's scanned you and it's found those places that you need support, it's going to send the exact vibrational frequency that your cells need to support and balance your body.
What do you mean?
So again, just...
How is it going to be sending that? Again, that sounds like some really impressive transmission technology.
Setting the intention that you're allowing the Heli to send you these frequencies, and this takes about 1 minute and 20 seconds. When you have a distance session with Gianna...
I mean, couldn't it just take like 2 seconds since it's not actually doing anything?
We really make a whole experience out of this. It's very similar...
Yeah, this has been a real experience.
Similar to if you've had a meditative experience, if you've had a Reiki session with me before.
Of course, she's a fucking Reiki healer.
Where I like to involve other things to really make you feel relaxed and into this receptive state. So
receptive? Can you imagine if your doctor was like, you need to be receptive to it?
This is a little bit quicker, what John and I are doing here. But if you reach out to us individually, we'll give you a free Heli session like that. That's more...
Well, I would hope it's fucking free.
More of an experience. If this tickles your fancy, or you don't get to have your session today while John and I are on, just reach out to us in our message box and we'll make...
It's a fucking tens machine and it's not even fucking connected.
Time over the next couple of days to gift you a free Heli experience.
Wow, my cup runneth the fuck over.
So it's about 20 more seconds left on this.
Boy, what's the bandwidth on this?
So I've noticed a lot of times too that my clients, when I'm using this in Reiki or with my friend family at a distance, that they're feeling energy moving around them that's similar to how people feel Reiki energy flowing around them.
So that's the end of the clip that was sent in to me. And I couldn't have myself being the only person to know about what incredible levels of stupidity there are with this company. I'm not done with this company. I'm absolutely going to be going more in on them, and probably also reporting them to the FDA, because they might have put that disclaimer up, but then they subsequently were like, oh, we're going to treat this condition. You can't say that. That's not allowed. Anyway, I'll probably also have a video coming out where we look at the compensation plan for the MLM portion of it. So look forward to that. How stupid was this? It was just it was a parade of stupidity. It was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I've been Mac. Peace out. Bye!